Welcome to my session. Today, we'll explore the types of organizations, their goals, and how they make decisions under economic constraints. By the end of this lesson, you'll understand how profit-seeking, not-for-profit, and governmental organizations operate, and how they manage limited resources in a world of trade-offs. Firstly, we will talk about the economic concept of relative scarcity. Scarcity means our resources are limited, but our wants are unlimited. Every time we choose one thing, we give up something else. That sacrifice is called opportunity cost, the value of the alternative we didn't choose. Every organization, whether it's a business, a charity, or a government agency, must answer a set of fundamental economic questions when deciding how to use its limited resources. First, they must decide what to produce. This means choosing which goods or services to offer based on demand, purpose, and available inputs. Second, they ask how to produce it. Should it be made by hand or with machines? Locally or overseas? Organizations must consider efficiency, cost, and impact when making this decision. Third, they must decide for whom to produce. This involves identifying the target audience or customer base, whether that's consumers in a particular region, vulnerable communities, or the general public. And finally, they must plan how to distribute what they produce. Will it be sold in shops, delivered online, or provided free of charge through a public service? These 4 questions lie at the heart of all economic planning, and how they're answered shapes the success, sustainability, and impact of every organization. To produce anything, whether it's a loaf of bread, a smartphone, or a public service, organizations need inputs. These inputs are known as the factors of production, and there are 4 key types. Land includes all natural resources, such as fields, forests, minerals, and even the space a building occupies. The income earned from using land is called rent. Labor refers to human effort. It includes everyone from factory workers to doctors, designers, and delivery drivers. In return for their time and skills, workers earn wages. Capital is anything man-made that helps in production. This includes machinery, tools, buildings, and even computers. Those who provide capital, like banks or investors, receive interest as a reward. And finally, there's enterprise. This is the drive, risk-taking, and decision-making provided by entrepreneurs. They combine the other 3 factors, take on uncertainty, and aim to create value. If they succeed, they earn a profit. Together, these 4 factors make production possible, and each one must be carefully managed to ensure an organization runs efficiently. There are 3 main types of organizations, each with a different purpose. First, profit-seeking businesses aim to earn revenue and maximize profit for their owners or shareholders. Second, not-for-profit groups focus on social impact rather than profit. These include charities, community projects, and NGOs that reinvest any income to support their mission. Third, government organizations provide essential public services like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. They manage resources on behalf of the entire population and are funded mainly through taxes. All organizations, no matter their size or purpose, face limits on what they can do. These limits are known as economic constraints. They may want to expand, launch new products, or help more people, but they're restricted by the resources available to them. This includes money, skilled workers, time, and even laws or regulations. For example, a charity may want to build a new center, but can only do so if it secures enough funding and volunteers. A business might want to grow into a new market, but could be limited by production capacity or government rules. Economic constraints force organizations to prioritize and make strategic choices. Understanding these limits helps them plan more effectively and use their resources wisely. Regardless of whether an organization is profit-seeking or not-for-profit, many of the day-to-day decisions they face are surprisingly similar. They all must decide what to produce, what product or service they will offer to meet the needs of their customers, clients, or members. Then comes the question of where to sell it. This could be in a physical location, online, or through community outreach. Next is what price to charge. Even not-for-profits need to think about pricing when offering workshops, tickets, or memberships, balancing accessibility with covering their costs. Finally, they must plan how to fund growth, whether through reinvested profits, donations, sponsorships, or external financing. These shared decisions highlight how structured and strategic all types of organizations must be to operate sustainably. As we wrap up this lesson, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. First, we explored the idea of scarcity, how limited resources force individuals and organizations alike to make choices. Whether it's time, money, land, or skilled labor, no organization has access to everything it wants. This is what drives economic decision-making. Every action requires a trade-off, and understanding those trade-offs helps leaders set priorities. Second, we learned that all organizations rely on resources to function, whether they aim to make a profit, serve a community, or provide public services. The tools they use, land, labor, capital, and enterprise, are shared across all types of organizations. And finally, while their goals may differ, all organizations face similar challenges: managing costs, allocating resources, making strategic decisions, and ensuring long-term sustainability. Businesses might aim to grow profits, charities to support their cause, and governments to serve citizens. But the underlying economic pressures remain the same. In the end, understanding how organizations work, and the forces that shape them, is essential for anyone wanting to grasp how our economy operates as a whole. Thank you for watching this video on organizations and their goals. We hope it gave you a clear understanding of how different types of organizations make decisions, and what drives their operations. In our next video, we'll take a closer look at the concept of shareholder wealth, what it means, why it matters, and how businesses aim to maximize it. See you there.